about broadening the struggle around police brutality, we should be ready and on guard because Eric Gardner's indictment, grand jury indictment, is coming down. We are now in a almost like a movement alert. The emails have gone out that anytime this week, it was supposed to be maybe last week, this week, but anytime in the next few days, the indictment can come down. And as we have already seen, whether it be Kamani Gray, and I want to just acknowledge, if folks know about Kamani Gray from East Flatbush, tomorrow would have been, I believe, his 18th birthday. And his mom and family and community right now are, and just dealing and dealing with that. But we know that this summer, as always, whenever the grand jury meets, generally the cops get off. And that's the thing that, that people are preparing for, that no matter how many of us saw the videotape, know that it was illegal, that I don't even believe the word illegal, quote unquote, chokehold, that the man was killed and strangled to death, that they're probably going to let those cops go. The call is, and I forget the exact details of it, it's either the day of or the next day, depending on what time it is. They
just said next day.
It's the next day, with the understanding of a different time, that there's either a 1 o'clock or a 4 o'clock from what I've heard. But the bottom line is, it's the next day. Thanks, Tony. And I think the main piece of it is just for us to be on guard, because it's the next day. There will be at Foley Square, there will be a demonstration. So we're going to Foley Square. Whatever the indictment comes down, go to Foley Square. It's the call into the movement, and that we be prepared for it, because for obvious reasons, we don't have any faith in believing that the grand jury is going to indict these cops. So with that said, I'm gonna show a few clips from 15th. To me, was one of the best coordinated days of series of actions I have ever seen. It was immense. It was 6 actions. So we talk about the 3 Walmarts where people did the mark and shut them places down. They did this. They put up, the Rams fans, Black Lives Matter in there, again, totally without anyone knowing that this was going to happen, all over national news. But again, they didn't want to even play it in the stadium. But I mean, there's lots of amazing pictures. Again, I'll talk a little bit. I was at the clergy march as well, which is a whole other thing that happened, because that was only supposed to go from 10 to 12. I don't think they got arrested until 2:30. I mean, I was joking a lot and making jokes about the fact that, like, arrest us now. What do we want? To be arrested? Arrest us? I mean, because they refused to arrest them. And in fact, I mean, I got hit with a baton. Cornel West got hit with a baton. I mean, the police were so vicious. So vicious. I mean, this is the clergy. This is the clergy. These are folk, they were praying. Oh, we'll show you video. I mean, even something that I thought was, again, this is I want to be really respectful of, like, the faith communities. It was very interfaith, like imams, rabbis. What happened to the sound? I am on the mic. I will go closer. How's that? Is that better? So sorry, people on the phone. Okay, so, but one of the, and let's scroll down. One of the things around the civil disobedience was the fact that, that the most publicized piece here is, again, so here's a part of the civil disobedience. I don't know why this. Let's close this post. All right. That's good. All right. So here was something that was very interesting. It was very sort of benign in some ways. I mean, and that it's a faith community. Here were, like, black women, religious leaders talking to the cops, praying for them. They created a whole sort of altar for Mike Brown. They asked the cops to come forward to repent. They said, repent. We want to forgive you. People were weeping. I mean, this was really, really for the religious community. This was a serious ceremony of, like, love. And here are particularly black women clergy and religious leaders and people talking to the cops, white cops, and they would ignore them. They would never make eye contact with them. Right next to them would be a white officer talking to 3 white women clergy and chatting them up and all that, and seeing the contrast. Black men and black women clergy members treated with total disdain. And again, we were literally chanting on point because they were, like, beating up Cornel West. beating. I mean, like beating him. And it was like, do you really want to beat Cornel West in front of like CNN? I mean, does that make sense? And they like had to pull themselves back. They pulled all what we would deem the white shirts back because they were so vicious to the clergy. All right. Yeah, no way. I got hit in the chest a couple times myself, and I wasn't taking arrests, but you know, everyone's getting hit. You're black, you're gonna get hit. You were anywhere near them, you were gonna get hit. All right, let me see. I'm just gonna play this. Here's really quick.
I've got some stuff for you. I'll call you back in a minute, though.
Sorry, this is on the phone.
Okay, bye.
I want everyone, if you could, once again to stretch your hand and stretch it forward. Clergy have been quiet.
Oh, sorry, it's short. Let's go real quick. Let's try this one more.
Lives matter! Black lives matter! All lives matter! We are here because black youth find more community on the street than in our churches. Black lives matter! All lives matter!
And so, as you can see, here's like people called crosses: Rashida McBride, Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, Emmett Till. This was like, you know, this is Sean Bell, Von Derek Myers as well. And just
we remember. This memorial in this street and parking lot is a priestly making of space where a stand is.
So that, and just I'm gonna move on from here. One of the pieces around the clergy piece was that they read every single name of people who had been murdered. They like did this whole. I mean, it was, and I want to be clear, as someone who went to the training, which was very controversial. I mean, because the training was there was a training for civil disobedience. Over 50 people got arrested, right, in all of different actions. There were trainings that were definitely for activists. There were also trainings that were definitely for maybe white, more privileged, entitled people who are like putting their bodies on the line. I went to that training, didn't with all the activists from New York City who were like mostly black and brown young people who are like not really feeling that training. But the protest itself, we all went to the protest, and it was incredibly militant in that sense. So again, after the repention of everything, they read these fiery speeches and read every single name of people who had, you know, like just names of young people, which was so powerful, that had been murdered. With all of this said, it took them almost 4 hours to, I mean, at one point they had to say, this is as long as Michael Brown lay out in the ground. They tried, I mean, it was supposed to be over at 12 o'clock. They went down, they tried to get, I want to also know that Carl Dix was also also part of the folks that got arrested at this too. So, so it's a mix of like political folks, clergy folks, Cornel West. Bottom line is, they went first and tried to barricade themselves into the side of the police station, and they wouldn't let them. They sat there in the rain. In fact, why I don't have any more footage is because I didn't want to lose my phone. I mean, like, I was drenched. I had to change at the airport. It was pouring down thunder shower, and even something like people just drove up out of their cars and gave us umbrellas. Like, it was loving. It was just, Ferguson was like in the house in all kinds of ways that people showed up. They wouldn't let them get arrested there. They then had to like they even snaked off. We thought they weren't going to get arrested at all, and then they came back and figured out to make themselves like bowling pins and push themselves forward towards this other cop line, and 4 by 4 they got arrested that way. It took forever to get them arrested. They didn't want the publicity. So I just wanted to say this as we kind of look at all these other dramatic things, mad respect to the clergy and other folks, because it took them hours to get arrested. All right, moving on. So we won't do it. Let's fly through the clergy thing. This is more clergy stuff. They're reading more stuff. We're going to fly through this. Here's more cops. I'm just because it's cops, why not? Let's just look at the cops for just a second.
How about front?
Yeah, well, I'm just getting through. Sorry.
This is the Ferguson police. This is the police station in the daytime. Monica had the nighttime. No.
Father Creason, come up front.
I need y'all to relax.
And so that's just the police force is there. All right, moving on. So sorry, I'm not speaking to the mic. I was speaking to the mic. Here's the line of folks at the beginning, so we can see again. Moving on. More clergy stuff. We can keep moving. Here again, another line of some of the frontline folks. When we marched out of the church to the Ferguson police station, Alrighty, moving on. Oh, want to do this. Okay, so here's okay, we're moving on. That's anti-police brutality stuff. So the group that came from New York City, 35 activists or so, drove down, between 13 to 20 hours, depending on what day it was, from New York City. And we know a lot of them. They're like, it was everything from NAACP folks, Cop Watch folks, a whole crew of people for Cop Watch. And it was very important that they came from Cop Watch. Rebel Diaz has a whole other crew that we know from, and People's Power Movement. Folks came from the Bronx. I mean, people drove in caravans, like these amazing caravans, you know, of folks, and mostly young people. I hung with them, and I was probably the oldest person in the crew of folks that were there, but it was very important. Their cars and vans were searched almost 3 to 4 times. They were pulled over. I mean, and again, they came to provide support, especially as Cop Watch. It was very important that they came to certain particular parts of the demonstration, but they themselves were targeted. Many, many times. I won't go into all the details. We shouldn't really go into all the details here, but they were targeted. New York license plates, which is typical, like in national demonstrations, out-of-state license plates, but we're talking about police pushing them, police dragging people out, police searching. We had to run at one point in the middle of the night and like just surround them. All right, because of the level of police repression. I won't go in myself. I did not get arrested, but there was a moment that was not very good. So anyway, moving on. So we're marching. This is important. We went to Shaw. So Von Derek Myers was killed in Shaw. And for many nights, if folks know, there was a whole huge attack that happened at the Quick Mart that happened on, what night? Saturday. No, during the Saturday. So after, and we'll show a little bit of footage of this, after Monday, Sunday, on Saturday night, there was a crew of people, and some people already went over to Shaw, which is a whole, other section. They marched over the Shaw. They went very peacefully and did an action that they were going to the Quick Mart, because it was the last place, that he was. It's the site of his murder. That was the thing that people wanted to do. The police attacked them, pepper sprayed people, beat people. I believe, to my knowledge, it was over 19 people arrested, and they stayed in overnight. People got out at 2, people got out at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But you see pictures of the police literally, like they sit down at the Quick Mart, and because the whole thing about the Quick Mart being burnt down, that there was that during the initial rebellion around August 10th and 9th, that the police reacted. You watch young people just sitting, and they're pepper spraying or hitting them, and it's like they're sitting. Clear that it was just a peaceful sit-in that people were doing in solidarity, and the police just lost it on them, which is typical. So the next night, on Sunday night, people marched over, and there's an occupation still going on at the University of St. Louis, where over 1,000 people marched over to Shaw, which was a whole other thing. Von Derek's family came to that march, and there's I'm not going to show it, but there's an amazing picture of a moment of silence that happened where everyone put their fists in the air in a complete and utter silence as after they spoke. It's an awesome shot that people should see. And again, to my knowledge, I believe his father's a worker there at the university. There's an occupation going on. Young people came out of the doors. The chant was out of the dorms, into the street, out of the dorms, into the street. People are occupying the University of St. Louis right now. There are people cooking soup in the quad. There's a controversy about whether they should be there or not, but the bottom line is they're there. People set up tents. People have set up tents in their quad, and this is like an occupation that is happening. I mean, again, it's definitely as Monday, it's died down some, but that there's this consciousness of people now being there and having this sense of like, we have a right to be here, but it's in solidarity with the murder of Von Derek. That even something I think is also important, that you hearing the chants of hands up, don't shoot, they're like young white women in collegiate that are leading those chants on that campus, just so folks know. All right, moving on. I'm talking to the mic. These are folks from CAV. Again, you can't see nobody, but this is folks that came down from committees against anti-Asian violence. It's Laurel and Kathy Dang, who's actually the ED, and There we go. This was it was very scary on our way to Shaw. This is, you can't really see it well, but this is the line of cops tapping the batons on the ground as we were like walking up over a bridge. We were trapped on a bridge for a long time. It was really deep because people were like, who wants to do police negotiation? And this is also important. Monica featured this young person in the video. The leader of a lot of the Shaw work is Daruba. His last name is escaping me right now. Daruba, at this point, has become like a leader around the work in Shaw and also the Quick Mart. He organized that demonstration as well as led us to the bridge. And so this is, and got us over to Shaw. Moving on, let's go. Okay, we're still marching to Shaw. This is the police. Oh, this is probably when they were taking our vans in. Yes, and we were dealing with that. This was this like mob up thing that just happened here. This was the New York van that we all had to run and sort of take, sort of like deal with. This is, as you can see, there was about 8 cops, 8 cop cars, you know, because we had New York plates. But they had, for the whole entire time that people were there, been following the van and targeting people. Last but not least, I just want to show this, there was a hip-hop show. So we're going backwards. So we're on Saturday, and there was a hip-hop show. And what happened at the hip-hop show was awesome. It was an awesome, awesome show. It was a great show. There were lots of, you know, Rebel Diaz, Charlie Khalib, Rosa Clemente, who ran with Cynthia McKinney. She gave a great, awesome speech. All this awesome. But outside were lots of young people from Ferguson, and they decided to do a spontaneous demonstration. And so here is the demonstration of young people just taking the streets and spontaneously, which is like, and here is the 8-year-old and the 7-year-old that I was talking about, leading chants, leading the way, you know, this is them. And actually, I'm gonna do real quick this is important because Cheryl sent me an email that was like, oh, I've seen her plenty of times. She's a star. She's a star in Ferguson. She does this is, oh, come back. Oh, it's just gonna keep skipping a little bit. Oh, keep going. Come on, Wi-Fi.
We do this for my ground.
Turn up, don't turn down.
7 years old. Wow. And I apologize. I missed most of her political speech because that was, I mean, it's one thing to lead chants. It's another thing to give a political rap. And Cheryl was like, oh yeah, she usually holding a microphone larger than herself. And so again, this is a youth in Ferguson, just spontaneously taking the streets. This is also, so you see the LV lost.
We got to fight back. We got to fight back.
She's from Lost Voices.
Ho, ho. These killer cops, they got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho.
Lost Voices is now the primary leadership of the youth in Ferguson that are doing this. This is a group of young people from a mixture. Atlanta, Ferguson. This is folks from Southerners from New Ground, which is an LGBT group that's also co-sponsoring a lot of they're in Durham. They're the whole entire South. This crew happens to be from Atlanta. So anyway, I think I'm gonna stop. Oh, let me see something really quick. All right, this is better.
We do this for We do this for my ground. 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 We do this.
What happened after that? So Rebel Diaz brought sound. They were asked to bring sound, and this turned into
what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me.
It sounds a lot different when they chant it, don't it? Sounds a lot different when they do it versus sometimes when we hear in other places. One last one. One more.
United we stand. Divided we fall. 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 Fight back. 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 Fight back.
And just to end with this, I mean, my favorite chants, and we haven't even got this. So turn up, turn down. We're doing this for Mike Brown. You know, the whole, I mean, every single, I'll just say it, almost, even the clergy, lots of chants have shit in it. It's beautiful. Like, it's just like, it really is. But one of my favorite, there's two of my favorite chants, and I didn't capture in this, is, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready for y'all. And they do it to the cops. Every night, we're ready, and they do it slow. We're ready for y'all, and like at the precinct fearlessly. This is their chant, but they think it's a game. They think it's a joke. They think it's a game. They think it's a joke. They think it's a game. They think it's a joke, and it's become a hashtag. And it really, I mean, like, because again, as far as they're concerned, we're not playing. We're gonna shut things down. So it's like, if we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. If he's not arrested, shut it down. It's like, but again, when the young people are I mean, it is a blood-curdling kind of moment. And this is what they're underestimating the level of rebellion that is happening. I mean, Monica and I were kind of talking about, like, why Eric Holder, has resigned, because why they had this meeting of the mayors. Because the truth of the matter is, Ferguson is going to happen. Ferguson is going to happen all over the country, and they know this. It's real. It's an amazing, amazing moment right now. Last and final thing, I'm not going to show it, but what happened at the Hip Hop Music Awards on BET, what happened on, what is that? That was Tuesday, that Mike Brown's mom and stepfather took the stage. So they were singing a song, Common. I sent this out to people. People didn't see it. Okay, so thank you, some people saw it. So they came up on stage very teary-eyed. Common had sing a song. Common is very, like, he's a political rapper out of Philly. No, I'm sorry, please kill me. It was Chicago. I apologize. All right, so people care about this. So anyway, the bottom line is, so they do their song. I believe they did Kingdom Come. I don't know other words, but the bottom line is they come to the stage and they do Hands Up, and the entire they clap obviously and give a standing ovation to mom and stepfather, and then the whole entire audience does Hands Up, and it's a moment of silence. You should say what the BET Awards. Oh, the BET Music Awards is it's a hip hop moment of people get awards. It's the music. It's like the Grammys, but focus on black music. But this is I had to say and put out, the revolution is coming. The revolution is coming. That a mainstream Grammy whatever award show, people do the Hands Up sign. There's a moment of silence, the entire audience, and it's mostly black people. I think that's the other piece of it. For people to even see that on national television, it's gone everywhere. It's viral, and like as soon as it happened, it was all over the place. This is, again, they know this is the climate we're living in. So anyway, I'm done. On to. So this is so important. On to whatever, like, just put it in your schedules now. Whatever happens with Eric Gardner, we just need to drop what we're doing and be out in the streets. Because whatever we can do in this period of time to keep Ferguson alive, we're going to talk more about what we can do for the 22nd to the 28th, 26th. We need to do whatever we can to just keep Ferguson in the news. All right.